Runstreet, so I'm interviewing New York Marathon runners with their tips and tricks to prepare you for Marathon Day.
Hi, my name is Melissa. I've been running for about 8 years now, and this is the second time I'll be running the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, I've ran New York City twice, 2016, 2017. I'm not doing it this year, but I am doing it next year. And I've ran the New York City Ultra, and I've also finished the JFK 50 and another marathon in Oregon.
My name is Mariel. I've been running short races, 5Ks, since I was a kid in second grade. I moved back to Brooklyn 3 years ago, and I have completed over 15 marathons and ultra marathons since then.
Hi, my name is Jose. I've been running with Runstreet since 2014. So far, I complete 8 marathons.
So my name is Kathleen Leninger. I'm a physical therapist and running specialist here at Custom Performance in Midtown. I've run New York and I've trained over 100 people to successfully finish the marathon.
My biggest before race advice would just be nothing new on race day and nothing new, a day or two prior. So whatever your normal habits are, whatever your normal eating, sleeping routine is, just try to stick to that. Nothing new on race day.
So there's 3 common mistakes that people can make the week of the marathon that leads to injury. The first one is overdoing it that week. If you have to run 6 miles but you're tired, don't run the 6 miles. Foam roll, stretch, and get some extra rest. The second mistake people make is carb loading mega the night before. Instead of eating a lot of pasta the night before, add a little bit more carbs for the whole week following in. The third and final most popular mistake is spending too much time at the expo. That is time on your feet that you do not need. Go to the expo, pick up your stuff, keep your head down, and walk out. Everything will be on sale after the marathon.
So I take a rest day the day before the marathon. I lay out all my clothes just to make sure I have everything, have all my fuel, and I make sure to get a good night's sleep.
There's no other place in the world to run a marathon like that. Oregon, when I went out there, the vibe was really good, but New York is just crazy. Especially if you're from here, you're in your city, the whole city's out there. I don't know how many people are out there. I know there's 50,000 people running the race. There's a lot more people cheering. But both races, that 59th Street Bridge, that's the first spot in the race. Once you come over the Verrazano in the beginning, boom, you're right, there's people all over the place. The 59th Street Bridge is about halfway, a little bit more, and there's no people. And all of a sudden, all you hear is the pitter-patter of runners' feet and people panting, and you see a lot of people start to drop off there. So that is a very crucial part. Just stick to your guns and do what you got to do. Make it up that hill so you're on, so you get to the downhill. But that's where those 2 spots were it was wow, I want to stop right now, just like everybody else is, or all these other people. And another thing that you need to make sure you do during the race is hydrate. Make sure you get your water, because 26.2 miles is a long time. Most of the people I know are going to be out there anywhere from 2 hours and 45 minutes to 5 hours. Is a long time to be running. You need to make sure that you have a little bit of fuel, bananas if they have them, and that you're hydrating regularly. If you wait until you're hungry or you're thirsty, it's too long. Not good.
So my race day advice and advice for pacing for the marathon is to break the marathon into thirds. The first third is the first 10 miles. Second third is the second 10 miles, and the last third is the last 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles. You want to run the first 10 miles controlled, confident in your training. The second 10 miles is composed. You're using your feet, you're using that training and all those miles you put in. The last 10K or 6.2 miles, you run with your heart, you put it all out there, and you get to that finish line.
Yes, one very important is don't go out too fast. Pace yourself. Keep in mind that you have 4 more reaches to go after the Verrazano Bridge.
So my first piece of advice for the actual marathon day is 1, make sure you pack an extra breakfast or a smaller breakfast when you're on Staten Island. You're there for a really long time. My second piece of advice is if there's any chance of rain in the forecast, make sure that you pack your race sneakers and dry socks separately so you can change in them right before the race. You'll be way more comfortable that way. My third piece of advice is when you hit the half mark, Make sure you keep some energy to get over Queensboro. Mile 15 to 16 is one of the hardest parts of the race. You're gonna want a lot of extra energy when you get to the top of Queensboro.
So what I usually do is bring extra throwaway clothes, because usually we'll be waiting about 3.5 hours before we actually start the race. So I don't burn up any energy. I like to stay warm, and I also like to bring something to eat so I could eat 2 hours before the start of the race.
I would say my mental tip is to think of the pain and potential struggling you're going to have, because it will happen, as a pain tunnel instead of a pain cave. Sometimes we start to think about things like, this is never ending, this hurt is never gonna stop, but I do find that most case scenarios, you're gonna come out the other side of that pain tunnel and feel better somewhere along the way. So just trusting that that will happen, and if it doesn't happen, it's okay to cry and let those emotions out too.
Difficult points. I mean, there's so many things I like to reach into my bag for to motivate myself. But all the work you put in going into a marathon, and plus, this is my city. Like, I have so many friends out in the crowd. You are usually at some mile. You got Back on My Feet. You got all the run crews, other friends here, there, and then the crowd in general. And there's people just cheering you on. If you wear your name on your shirt, people will yell out your names to you. Go, Derek, go, Marnie. It's a very easy. I don't want to use the word easy for anything to do with the marathon, but you'll find things to motivate you.
What I usually do is I don't go out too fast. I keep a steady pace for the first half, so I don't burn all my energy for the second half, because I feel the second half is the most important. And with New York City, the crowds are incredible, so there's constant cheering on either side for the full 26 miles, so that's a lot of motivation